Definition of a circle. A circle is the set of all points in a plane that are equidistant from a fixed point called the center. The fixed distance from the circle's center to any point on the circle is called a radius. So here we have a circle. This is the center point that we're talking about here. This is your center. The fixed distance from this center to any point on the circle is the radius. So the distance from the center to any point on the circle is the radius. Next, I want to talk about the standard form of the equation of a circle with center HK and radius R. This is another formula that you need to be very familiar with. Open parentheses, x minus h squared plus y minus k close parentheses squared equals to r squared. Again, your center is HK. So we plug in h to the formula here, we plug in k to the formula here. Then radius, you'll plug in r into the formula. So we need to memorize this formula. This is your third formula that we've talked about. We've talked about distance, we've talked about midpoint, and now we have the standard form of the equation of a circle formula that you also must memorize. So let's look at an example using these formulas. We have been asked to write the standard form of the equation of a circle with center 0, 0, the origin, and the radius 2. Now let's remember that formula. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals to r squared. That is the standard form of the equation of a circle. Remember, your center is HK and your radius is R. So let's substitute the H and the K and the R back into the original problem. Open parentheses, x minus h is 0 squared, plus open parentheses, y minus k is 0 squared, equals to r is 2 squared. Now, x minus 0, we can't subtract off 0, so we end up with just x squared, plus we can't subtract 0 from y, we just end up with y squared equals to 4. So that would be your final answer to this problem. This is standard form of the equation of a circle with center 0, 0 and radius of 2. We took 2 and squared it and got 4. All right, let's look at the next example. Write the standard form of the equation of the circle with center -2, 3 and radius 4. So plugging it into your formula, remember h is -2, k is 3, and r is 4. So we have x minus h is -2 squared, plus y minus 3k, close parentheses, squared, equals to r squared is 4 squared. I plugged h and k and r into the formula. Now the formula comes with a minus sign. Going back to the formula comes with a minus sign. So it will always be there. X minus whatever h is. Well, when I plug in -2 minus that negative, subtraction means add the opposite. What happens to that -2? What does it become? +2. Okay? When you plug in 3 into this formula, it's y minus 3, close parentheses, squared, equals to 4 squared is 16. So there's your final answer there. But notice, when I plugged in -2, minus, when I said minus -2, that became plus. When I plugged in +3, Positive 3 was minus positive 3. It became negative 3 in a sense. So plugging in negative 2 became positive. Plugging in positive 3 became negative when you plug them in because the formula comes with the minus sign. Okay? All right, let's continue on. Using the standard form of a circle's equation to graph the equation, or to graph the circle. So we're going to use the standard form of a circle's equation to graph the circle. Find the center and the radius of the circle whose equation is x minus 2 squared plus y plus 4, close parentheses, squared equals to 9. So the first thing I need to do is find the center of the circle, and let's find the radius of the circle. Well, your center is HK. Remember, your center is HK and your radius is R. Now think back to your formula. Your formula is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals to r squared. Now, remember what I just said. When a number is plugged into the formula, it changed to its opposite because of the minus sign. So if I have negative 2 in my formula, when it comes out, it really is positive 2. Because if you plug in 2 into this formula, it would become x minus 2. So h had to have been 2 in order for the formula to say x minus 2. Now, positive 4. Positive 4 is in the formula as positive 4. When it comes out, it was really negative 4. Because if you plug this into y minus negative 4, that minus that negative, that's where that plus sign came from. Okay? So you got to think that way. If 2 was negative in the problem, it was positive 2 to begin with. When plugged into the formula, it's negative. When you plug in negative 4 into the formula, it becomes positive. So you're kind of having to think backwards. What was it before it was plugged into the formula? So your center of this equation is 2, negative 4. Now, this is the formula, so this is r squared. See, the formula is r squared. So in order for us to find the radius r, we must take r squared and set it equal to 9. Okay? Take r squared and set it equal to 9. You can take the square root of both sides. You end up with r is equal to, you normally get plus or minus 3, but there's no such thing as a negative length of a radius of a circle. So therefore, your r had to be 3. So you can always go back and check it out. 3 squared gives me 9. So the center is 2, negative 4, and the radius is 3. So now I want us to graph this circle. Okay, I'm going to use a little grid that I have here. So let's go to the center, 2, negative 4. This is my x-axis. So I go to the right 2 and down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's my center. Okay, now from this center all the way around, my radius is 3. So I'm going to make little markings. I'm going to go out 3. 1, 2, 3, right there. Up 3, 1, 2, 3. To the left 3, 1, 2, 3, and down 3, 1, 2, 3. So there's my circle. I have a circle with the center being 2, negative 4, and the radius is 3. Now, let's talk about the domain and the range of this problem. Remember, your domain is your x's. Your range is your y's. So, as far as the domain goes, what domain has been used? Well, think of this point. It is, the x is negative 1 of this point. And then all the way over to the greatest x value would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 5. And I'm going to go ahead and use brackets on those because everything in between negative 1 and 5 has been used for the domain. Now let's talk about the range. That's the y's. What y's have been used? Well, the lowest y value that's been used here is right here down at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down at -7. And then all the way up to the largest y that is being used would be from this point at -1. So there is your domain and your range. Domain is your x's, range is your y's.